They think it's over, that the soul of the Seahawks walked out the door with the last heroes of the Legion of Boom, and that now we're just another team in transition. They are dead wrong. This is Ethan Carter, and the real question this preseason isn't if we're going to compete, but who, for real, has the guts and the ice in their veins to honor this uniform. We're talking about a kid from the stands turning into a predator on the field, a rookie carrying the weight of an entire offensive line on his back, our starters finally taking the field to shut some people up, and a signing that's interesting to say the least. Every single one of these things defines who we're about to become, and it all starts with a name nobody saw coming. All right, my fellow Seattle Seahawks fans, before we get into the details on this Friday with the latest on our team, just a quick ask from me to you. If you follow the Seahawks Insider Report and you dig our breakdowns, but you haven't subscribed yet, please do me a favor and hit that subscribe button. It's absolutely critical for the channel and for our community of Seahawks fans to keep on growing. Seriously, thank you so much for the support. Forget the big money contracts, forget the names on the headlines. I'm going to ask you a simple question. Right now, according to Mike McDonald's own point system, who is the most productive player on our defense in training camp? If you thought of some high-priced veteran or a rising star, you're way off. The name is Patrick O'Connell, the kid who was on the practice squad until yesterday, and who now, with Tyrese Knight injured, is getting the chance of a lifetime with the starting defense. And if that name rings a bell, it's because he's one of us. O'Connell is the kid from Montana whose family used to drive 14 hours, round trip, to watch games at the old CenturyLink field, keeping a tradition that started with his grandparents, who were original season ticket holders. He was there, in the stands for the win against the Saints in 2013. He felt the energy at Lumen Field just like we did. And now, the guy who got the call from Lofa Tatupu, one of his idols, is leading McDonald's internal chart that measures what matters most: grit. Their system tracks hustle plays, tackles, strip attempts, and patio, as McDonald calls him, is at the top. This isn't about raw talent, man. It's about a motor that never quits, a mentality that's infectious. In a linebacker room with little experience, where depth is a real concern, seeing a guy like this step up is a tactical relief and a shot of adrenaline. Can you see the impact of that in the locker room? The message is crystal clear. Under this new command, your hustle is worth more than your status. O'Connell, who had to switch positions coming out of college and learn a whole new defensive scheme, is the definition of resilience. Having a lion like him in the heart of our defense is the kind of story that defines us, that reignites that 12th man pride. He's all soul, all heart, fighting for every single yard. But tell me this, what good is a heart beating that strong on defense if, on the other side of the ball, our offensive line has been, let's be honest, anemic, unable to protect our quarterback? That kind of grit needs to be contagious, and maybe, just maybe, the solution finally arrived in this last draft. Let's be brutally honest for a second. How many times over the last 5-6 years have you and I screamed at the TV, watching our quarterback running for his life before he even had a chance to look downfield? Our offensive line has been a mix of neglect and false hope, a chronic problem that has sabotaged promising offenses. And now, all of a sudden, ESPN shines a spotlight on Seattle and says our X factor for the season is a rookie in that very unit, a rookie named Gray Zabel. Now, being skeptical is natural, right? We've been burned before, but something here feels different. Zabel, our first-round pick, isn't just another body to fill a spot. He's the personification of a philosophical shift. In his first preseason game, he didn't look like a rookie. He played with the calm and the aggression of a 5-year vet. He's the centerpiece of Clint Kubiak's new scheme, which finally seems to understand a simple truth: you build an offense from the trenches. Kubiak's system, focused on more running, moving the quarterback, and less shotgun, is designed to make life easier on the O-line, to create angles and impose a physical will that the old scheme just ignored. Zabel is the perfect engine for that machine. But the real X factor, like the reporter pointed out, is the ripple effect. A dominant Zabel on the left side combined with a finally healthy Abraham Lucas on the right could turn our biggest weakness into a strength. For the first time in a long time, we're not talking about band-aids, we're talking about a foundation. Could we finally have a line that reminds us of the glory days of Walter Jones, a line that commands respect? The impact goes way beyond protecting the quarterback. It means controlling the clock, wearing down defenses, and giving our own D time to rest. It means a new identity. But look, all this talk is great, but talk doesn't win games. The real test, the trial by fire, happens this Friday. We'll finally see this new line with Zabel protecting our new starting quarterback for the first time. The Sam Darnold era starts now. With all due respect to the spreadsheet analysts who've never strapped on a helmet, anyone who says this Friday's game against the Chiefs is just preseason has absolutely no clue what's at stake for the Seattle Seahawks. This isn't about the final score. It's about identity. It's about looking in the mirror and finding out who the hell we are. After sitting most of the vets in the opener, Mike Macdonald is about to let the dogs out. Sam Darnold will make his first appearance as our starting quarterback. Cooper Kupp will wear our uniform in a game for the first time. Devin Witherspoon is going to lead the secondary. We're talking about the heart of our team, and they are not walking out there for a stroll in the park. McDonald called it a reward for their hard work, but we know it's a test. It's the first time we'll see the new offensive line, with the rookie Gray Zabel trying to give Darnold an actual clean pocket. It's the chance to see his timing with the receivers, to see if the chemistry that looks good in practice can survive the chaos of an opposing defense. And if anyone doubts the intensity, practices this week were a powder keg with skirmishes and helmets flying, forcing McDonald himself to step in. That's not a lack of control. That's the sound of a team that is sick and tired of being mediocre. It's the friction that forges steel for the season. The situation at center, with Oluwatimi still out and Jalen Sundell taking all the snaps with the ones, just cranks up the tension and the importance of seeing how this unit performs. What's the one thing you want to see from our starters? I want to see attitude. I want to see a statement. We'll see our generals on the field, the stars who will carry our fate. But the truth about football, the truth that we old school fans know in our bones, is that battles are won by the grunts doing the dirty work. In those positions, nobody notices. And speaking of dirty work, the front office just made a very curious move to beef up that exact department. Do you remember a time when the most satisfying sound in a football stadium was the violent crack of a fullback exploding a linebacker to clear a path for the running back? In a league obsessed with air raid offenses and finesse plays, the fullback position has become a museum piece, a dinosaur for most teams. Or so it seemed, because the Seahawks, in another move that shows the new philosophy of Mike Macdonald and Clint Kubiak, just signed one. His name is Wesley Steiner, and he is anything but a traditional fullback. This signing, which looks small on paper, is fascinating in the details. Steiner was a linebacker at Auburn and Washington State, a guy trained his whole life to hunt down and tackle whoever had the ball. After a quick stint with the Raiders as a defender, Seattle brings him in to switch sides and become the hunter who clears the way. Why? Because the tape and the numbers tell a story of absurd potential. Steiner has the ideal size, but his athletic explosion is elite. He ran a 4.39 40-yard dash with a 39-inch vertical. That's not a battering ram, that's a heat-seeking missile. In an offensive scheme that wants to get back to imposing its will on the ground, having an athlete of that caliber as a lead blocker, someone with the aggressive mentality of a linebacker, is a huge tactical advantage. He's not just going to block defenders, he's going to punish them. Do you still believe a fullback can be a difference maker in today's game? I do, especially one with this profile. He joins Robbie Ousts and Brady Russell in a competition that signals one thing. The era of soft football in Seattle is over. This Steiner signing, as small as it seems, is a microcosm of everything we've seen. It's a symbol. We've got a kid from the stands, Patrick O'Connell, playing with pure heart. We've got a rookie cornerstone, Gray Zabel, bringing brutality to the offensive line. We've got our starters, led by Darnold, playing with a chip on their shoulder, and now a linebacker being forged into a weapon for the ground game. Every one of these stories is a piece of a much larger puzzle. In the first preseason game, we saw the roster depth in the rookies. But tonight's game against the Chiefs is different. This is the moment of truth. This is when we'll see if the new philosophy of brutality, which we've seen in flashes from guys like O'Connell and Zabel, can be executed and led by our starters. Enough talk. This team is being built to be more aggressive. The big question is, do our leaders on the field, starting with Darnold, have the attitude to impose that style from the very first snap? I want to hear what you think. Let's just hope we see a team playing with an edge tonight. Have a great game.